Hey, Hans, get down. Lower. Not like the look past right here.
Thank you all for joining us here today. I wanted to hold this press conference at Carmel Mall to highlight our incredible Somali businesses housed here. We have an extraordinary entrepreneurs who have built amazing businesses. Carmel holds a special place in my heart, and I look forward to visiting every time I'm home. This is one of the places I recommend to visitors who come into our town because it showcases our vibrant Somali community. Carmel Mall is home to more than 100 small businesses, and the owners here have seen a significant decline in business since Trump's Operation Metro Surge began. Community members are afraid to go out as a result of the occupation in our city by ICE. Not only is the federal occupation hurting businesses, the president's reprehensible rhetoric has led right-wing grifters to show up here to terrorize our community. It is indefensible. Hurting small businesses is just the tip of the iceberg. Under the Trump administration's so-called Operation Metro Surge, constitutional rights are being trampled, families are being ripped apart, and fear is being weaponized to try to beat us into submission. Federal immigration agents are terrorizing our neighbors, stopping people of color, demanding papers, detaining U.S. citizens, and brutalizing Minnesotans in the name of public safety. But we know this is not about public safety or immigration enforcement. It is state-sanctioned violence and political retribution. What is unfolding in our state is not accidental. It is part of a coordinated effort to target Black and brown immigrant and Muslim communities through fear, racial profiling, and intimidation. This administration's immigration agenda is not about law enforcement. It is about making people feel they do not belong regardless of their citizen status or the law. But our communities shall not and will not be intimidated. In the face of violence, Minnesotans have organized, protected one another, and showed love instead of fear. Two incredible Minnesotans, Renee Good and Alex Preddy, were murdered for their willingness to stand up and protect their neighbors. Now our community is reeling from their murder that were entirely avoidable. No immigration enforcement agent should ever be allowed to act as a judge, jury, and executioner on our streets.
That's right.
We will continue to demand real accountability. I am grateful my colleagues who have shown immense moral clarity in this moment. I will end with this. We must all do more. Everyone here understands that. Voting no on DHS funding bill is the bare minimum. Backing the resolution to impeach Kristi Noem is the bare minimum. Holding law-breaking ICE agents legally accountable is the bare minimum. We must abolish ICE. This moment demands it. And next, I want to introduce my dear friend and colleague, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley.
Thank you, Ilhan. Earlier today, we visited the sacred space where Alex Preddy was executed in broad daylight. An unarmed citizen whose last words were, "Don't hurt her." One of the many tributes that was at that memorial invoked a scripture that I love as a woman of faith, and it's Isaiah chapter 1, verse 17. do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed. And that is what brings me here today. Do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed. I'm here as a sister in solidarity with Congresswoman Omar. I'm so grateful for her courageous and steadfast leadership. I'm here in solidarity with Movement family, who I have been here many times shoulder to shoulder doing justice work alongside. I am here to bear witness. I'm here to listen. And I'm here to help people process their grief and their trauma. You know, we all understand that elections have consequences. But for the life of me, what I cannot understand is that when someone has a House, a Senate majority, has the White House, and accomplices in the Supreme Court, why, when you have all of that power, you would use it to enact harm on every person who calls this country home. We have an occupant in the Oval Office who traffics in hate, is hell-bent on inflicting hurt and harm and trauma on everyone who calls this country home, with a laser focus on our most vulnerable. He has governed with malice and used ICE agents to terrorize our cities, rip families apart, operating with impunity. Rogue masked agents who violate people's rights in the name of so-called law and order. Yet they detain, deport, and kill our neighbors in cold blood without due process. To be clear, none of it has kept anyone safe, because it has nothing to do with public safety. Not in Minnesota, not in Massachusetts. It has everything to do with power, with control, with intimidation and oppression. Earlier today, I met immigrants who make this country great, who make this state great, who fled authoritarian regimes in Colombia, Venezuela, Syria, and Nicaragua. They came here for a better life and to make positive contributions, which they do. And they are so traumatized to be seeing in real time the very authoritarian, fascist, and cruel actions that they fled showing up here in Minnesota and in this country. All this has done is traumatize children, delay cancer patients' chemotherapy, devastate small businesses, and leave beloved community members like Renee Good and Alex Preddy dead on our streets. The last time I was here at Carmel Mall, we broke bread together amongst bustling shoppers. It was vibrant, and we laughed over sambusas and drank Somali tea together. Today, it is quiet. Oh. Today, it is quiet. It is quiet because of fear. When we were at Midtown Global Market earlier today, what is it, Lakeside? Mm-hmm. We learned that Lake Street, home to some 2,000 businesses, majority of which are owned by immigrants, that they are losing $30 million a month. Those are the sort of contributions that immigrants have been making to this economy. I don't know what to do about that. Yeah. They're saying it's just...
They said to take it out.
It's better.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Sorry. All right. That's okay. So the point is, this is devastating families and devastating the economy here. That's why we're here today, to stand in community, to choose community over chaos and cruelty. We're here because although there can never be justice, because true justice would mean that Renee Good and Alex Preddy and Keith Porter would still be alive. I'm not sure, guys, what to do here. But there must be accountability.
Don't use the mic. Use the mic.
Okay. Listen, I'm the granddaughter of a Baptist preacher. I have no problem projecting. Can you all hear me? Okay. Okay, so if you want to have church, we will have church. And I mean real church. Not people who speak with a mouthful of scriptures, but walk with a heart full of hate. You know, it has been incredible to be here in community today with people who are every day choosing community over chaos and over cruelty, people who are fighting in defense of the true values of this country and in defense of our neighbors. This moment requires accountability. This week, the Senate will take up legislation to fund the Department of Homeland Security, which includes an additional $28 billion for ICE. We are calling on all senators, Democrat and Republican, to vote no, because Congress should not be funding this campaign of terror. And we can't stop there. The agents who brutalized and executed our neighbors cannot walk away freely. They must be held accountable for their crimes. That means passing my bill to end qualified immunity for federal law enforcement, including ICE agents. And it means impeaching Kristi Noem, who is as incompetent as she is dangerous. She is a dangerous cocktail of authority, bigotry, and incompetence, and she must be impeached. We need to abolish ICE and dismantle the systems of oppression that have gotten us to this point. So again, I thank my sister in service for her courageous leadership, for the invitation to return to Minnesota once again, to stand shoulder to shoulder with my movement family, to do right, to seek justice, and to defend the oppressed. Finally, I will say this. Donald Trump is a dictator. And the only way to beat a dictator is with defiance. I thank the people of Minnesota for your defiance in this moment, and I'm here as your sister in solidarity.
I know.
Impossible.
Thank you so much, Ayanna Pressley. The Congresswoman, as she said, has visited Minnesota multiple times, whether it was coming with the Congressional Black Caucus to see the opportunities that exist here in Minnesota for all of us, whether it was to come and to protect our beautiful Mississippi River and stand with the Native American community, and now being here to make sure that she's standing in solidarity with us. Next, I want to call on Minnesota State Senator Omar Fateh, who represents this district.
Don't use it? Don't use it?
Give
Okay.
it a try. Give it a try.
Testing, is this good? They said no. They said no.
How about this?
Nothing, not even.
The mic should pick you up.
Testing, testing.
It's in and out.
I don't know. I tried. Thank you, members of the public, members of Congress, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar and Congresswoman Pressley, and local leaders for joining us here today. As an elected of this local neighborhood in the Senate, I think we all know what's happening here is harmful and unacceptable. We can all see and call out the brutality that ICE agents, when we see it on the streets and on camera. But here's what's also brutal. Closed shops and quiet hallways here in the Carmel Mall. That means small business owners and workers losing out, missing the money that keeps them in business, and their bills paid here and in their homes. One of the freedoms Americans value is the freedom of fear, freedom from fear. And it is the fear of harassment unlawful arrest and abuse that's keeping Minnesotans in their homes right now. We need ICE, Border Patrol, and unwelcome federal agents to leave our state and to go back to where they belong. And that's testifying in front of Congress about what they've done here and who sent them. And they should be charged for their abuse of power.
Yes.
District 62 has been a lot, and that's the district that I represent. It's been through the death of George Floyd, the murder of George Floyd, the recovery from being one of the hardest hit districts from COVID-19, the pandemic. It's the district in which both Renee Good and Alex Priddy has been murdered at the hands of federal ICE agents. In response to that, we've seen that our neighbors have stood up. Our neighborhoods have formed response groups. They've taken to the streets to peacefully observe and to fight back peacefully. And what we've seen time and time again is that we have the full force of the federal government putting its weight on our state and on our city. $170+ billion in this operation in a time in which they've been gutting healthcare, in a time in which they're saying there's no money to support our folks struggling with housing or our small businesses, but they have the money to arrest and detain not only our immigrants, but U.S. citizens unlawfully. And so we've seen these racist tactics from our federal government in the past. I'm the son of immigrants from Somalia. My father immigrated here before I was born in 1963 to Montana. He immigrated here the same year as the racist statement from George Wallace, in which he said, segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever. And now we've seen that same racist tactics, it seems like coming full circle from our federal government. But we're stronger than that. And instead of our federal government wanting to make an example out of Minnesota, instead we have set an example for the nation. We've set the example of how to fight back and how to push back. And so right now, what we're calling for our congressional members and our leaders to do is that, number one, do not fund the DHS bill, to impeach Kristi Noem, to abolish ICE, and for our governor to enact a moratorium on evictions.